Hey everybody, what is going on? Sean here with Zero to Income, and are you all ready to have some fun with a stand store template? So we had a comment on one of the stand store videos that I've created. Asked, is there a way to show people how to do that? Have I done that yet? And really haven't. Didn't show people how I went through and set this all up. Part of that is it could be a very long video. So we're just, we're going to let this roll and see how long it takes and walk you through my whole process, probably including some ChatGPT back and forth to make sure everything's nice and responsive. But let's take a quick peek over here at the stand store, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right. So here's what we've got. Here's the single column template. And again, the template that I do provide, if people just want to have the template, it has a single column and a double column. This is the single. And so again, this template here is in the description. So you can go ahead and grab this if you wanted to. It is free as part of the Zero to Income Toolbox, which you can sign up for. All right. So if we go up here to the double column and view funnel step, this is what the double column looks like. What we're going to do today, though, is we're going to run through and set up the single column just because I like the single column. It's easier to keep things nice and responsive. And I'm all about keeping things nice and responsive and as crisp and clean as possible. So that's what we're going to do today is we're going to recreate that single column, kind of a stand store template, if you will. All right. So that's what this is going to be. We're going to go through and recreate this and walk you through how to do that. So, very first thing, if you just really want to get started and get rocking and rolling as fast as possible, there are some templates built into Systeme.io that are very similar to stand store templates. They're called the link in bio templates. So if you go up here and you click on add step, call it whatever you want. We're going to call this the link in bio and dash stand store. Again, I'm just doing this just so that you can see what I'm talking about here. And then right down here is the link in bio templates. If you click on save, it's now going to open up all of the different templates that are available. Now, when you go to play with these, part of the reason that I went and created my own is oftentimes when you work with the template in Systeme.io, they're not always mobile friendly. They will probably look okay on the phone and on the desktop, but in between, you really have to be careful and test them to make sure that they're also working on those in between screen sizes, right? And here, I'm going to use this one over here on the far right, this top one up here, as an example. We're going to click on Preview Template. Again, when you look at it, it's like, wow, this is pretty. This is really, really nice. I mean, I think they've done, they've done a lot here to make it look good, right? Now, if you right click on this and do an inspect, again, do this before you decide to use it. Right now, it's set. This is what it looks like on an iPhone Pro. Cool. How about an iPhone Pro 14 Max? Cool. And again, if you don't see this, right up here in the top right-hand corner is the toggle device toolbar. All right. And if you don't see the option to see different screen sizes, you want to click on toggle device toolbar. It's the second icon from the left. It looks like a mobile device that's being hung, a hangman. So if we click on that now, we have our ability to see different screen sizes, and depending on your browser, it should have some default things you can click on here. So this is what it looks like on an iPad mini. Again, I think that looks good on an iPad mini. If we go up to iPad Air, this is where I'm not happy. All right. There's no margin or spacing between the side here and the edge of your iPad. That's something that I get obsessive compulsive about this stuff. Same thing here. Let's click this up to 100%. Same thing here. There's no padding at all. It's just right up against the edge. All right. And so it's not a terrible thing, but for me, I want to see how you have some padding on the outside. Actually, it's margin. See how there's some margin on the outside of the white box there. I want to see that on all the devices. Let's go and see if we can get to like a Nest Hub. Again, there's no margin here between this outer box here and the outer edge, okay, of your device. I just wanted to create it myself and make sure that I've got everything dialed in so that it's responsive. All right. So that's the one thing that kind of keep in mind. Doesn't mean that these aren't terrible. You can definitely you can definitely go with one of these and have it roll. There's nothing wrong with it. Here's more of something that's very similar to what I will be doing. Again, mine's going to be a lot. What's the word I'm looking for? More basic than this, but you could totally do this as well. All these are just web pages, folks. All right, that's all they are. And anything that you can do on a Systeme.io web page, you can do here. All right, and they just call it a stand store, or they just call it a link in bio. All right, all it is a web page with it's set up in a certain way. All right, so let's go ahead and click out of this, and I'm going to actually delete this because I don't want it, because I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to create my own. All right. So what I'm going to do, because I also want to have the ability to use like opt-in forms. If you use a link in bio template, opt-in form doesn't work. All right. So you have to use the squeeze page. That's the one gotcha with those link in bio templates. If you use a link in bio and you decide, hey, I want to have an opt-in form, and what I mean by that is this thing here. Link in bios don't have that. But again, what we want to do is we want to start with the squeeze page. So we're going to go ahead and again we're going to move this completely. Confirm, and then we're going to go ahead and click on add a step. And again, with your funnel, you won't have all these other stuff, and we'll call this stand store. Let's see here. New stand store. This is just for me. Okay. Choose type. We're going to do squeeze page. That's fine. Save. And really, all this stuff here. I'm trying to find something that's very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Basic, because I'm going to whack it all anyway. We'll just do, I don't know, this one, I guess. Unfortunately, they don't have something that just says, hey, start with just something plain. And we'll click on edit page. All right. And literally just going to delete all this. I mean, you could keep it if you wanted to, keep some of it. We'll keep that right now. Definitely going to take. All right, let's go into here. So if you have issues getting into something, what I wanted to do was delete this whole row here. So it's a row with 2 columns. And what I'm trying to do is get to the point where I can go up to the trash can there in that top right hand corner. And what you'll find is when I try to get up there, it goes away. So the key to this is get the rows shown just like that. Click on it. So now up here in the top left hand corner, it's showing that we're in the row. So now go up here and click on the trash can, and that will remove all that, and it's gone. Same thing here. Obviously don't want to remove this whole row because I want to keep this. I'm gonna play with this here, and just gonna take out this subscribe and subscribe. You're welcome to keep stuff like subscribe on your email if you want, or on your websites and the stuff you put out there if you want. But just remember that as a general rule, people aren't just going to give you their email address just for the heck of it. All right. The whole point of having something like the Zero to Income toolbox is to try and create something that's going to be really, really valuable. All right. If they're going to share their email with you, you've got to give them something that's going to be valuable, that they're going to want to share their email with, and that you can't just say, hey, just give me your email, folks. No, that's not going to work. It's got to be something like, hey, I care about you. I have something of value for you. I take getting your email address seriously, and if you'd like to share it with me, I'm going to do everything I can to give you as much value as possible in return for that email address. All right. Anyway, In this case, I do kind of like this color. I'm going to actually just delete all this, delete all that, and I'm going to keep that there because I kind of dig the color. I actually dig this color too, but anyway, we're going to delete this whole section. And going all the way up, delete that whole section. Again, I'm just blowing all this away because we're just going to get real basic here. All right, so this is all one section here, which is fine. Go ahead and delete all that too. Huh, interesting. Interesting that we had that right there. So notice, again, I can't get up to the place where I want to delete this picture. And the reason that you can't is they've used probably negative margin to move that picture up. Okay. Let me do a Control Z, a couple of Control Zs. So what they've done with this image is they've got some negative margin to try to move it up so that it's kind of wrapping around this title here. All right. And so when I went in and deleted this, it moved everything up. And now we can't get to the portion of the image where you can get to the delete part. And so again, you can go right up here and delete it from here. And again, what I want to show you here is that right here, negative margin, negative 250. They've moved it up by using a negative margin. Okay. And they've done the same thing by moving it right by 100 using negative margin. All right. So my goal here is to delete this image. So I'll go right here and delete it since I can't get to the controls up in that top right hand corner. So now it's gone. All right. Uh, Here, let's see what happens if I can get to the row, delete that row, and I'm going to delete this whole thing as well. I'm going to delete this menu. Come on. There we go. Right there. Don't need the menu. All right. So we're kind of getting to the point where, more getting close to where we'd want to be to start working with stuff, right? And so our whole goal here is to do something like this, and we're going to make it it says double column. I thought I've changed that a couple times, but I didn't. This is the single column, not the double. So, but we're going to make it like this. All right. So, very first thing you want to do here is you've got, this is an image, and that's where you're going to upload your logo. All right. So we'll go ahead and pop in our logo. And sure, we'll use our Tech Gremlin logo right here. And we're going to pop that down, probably something like that. We could keep this all on one row. Let's just go and grab a row, pop that up above. I want it to go above. It's not letting me do what I want to do. So we'll go there, pop that in there, and I want to go ahead and center it like that. This whole thing I'm just going to take out. We don't need it anymore. Okay. Now we're going to have down below, if we wanted to, this already says 0 to income. If you wanted to, you could also put something in there. Because it already says Tech Gremlin Warrior, I think it's kind of redundant. But you could go ahead and if you really wanted to, go in here and add, say, another row right below, and then add some text. And you could say Tech Gremlin Warrior. Okay. And then if you go back, we have some icons up here. So we could do this whole thing here, right? Let's just do a duplicate. And then we're going to grab this whole thing and pop it right underneath. Okay. So now what's happened is, which you can, when we look at this, is it's not centered. Okay. So let's just try, are we in, it's in the same row. We can try and pop this into its own row and see if that doesn't. Let's see if I can get to it. There we go. It looked like it was already in its own row. So there is one row. Yeah, it's still putting it all in one row. You can tell. See how that's all one row? I want it in its own row. Take that out. That should be a row by itself. And we've already got it in a row, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at that. Let's go in here real quick. Trying to get the row to show up. There it is. Yep, we got a section, we got a row. So I'm going to go in here real quick and just see. Notice right here, we have right is 80. So they did that down here below because of where it's at in the footer. So we're going to take this completely out and make it 0. And then what we want to do is look at each one of these. There. Image size is 30. That's fine. What I'm looking at is the location of these. Yeah, they're all, the alignment's all over there, all over to the left align. And you can tell that it's not really centered. So I think what we'll do here, go back in here and see if maybe doing this will clean that up. I think it will. And again, they just, because this came from the footer, that's where it made the most sense. Let's pop this open and take a look at it. I'm happy with that. All right. So the whole point of setting this up and walking you through how to do all this is to also show you all my testing that I do. All right. To make sure that everything is responsive. So we're going to go ahead and click on the preview button. We haven't even really done much, but I want to just, before I get any further, let's look and just check this out and make sure that this is looking okay responsive wise. So I'm going to right click on the desktop. I'm going to do an inspect. And now we're in our developer mode. And again, if you don't have this set up to be responsive and to test responsiveness, click on the second to the left icon up there for the toggle device toolbar. We're already set. What I'm going to also do, though, I'm going to drop this down to just responsive. I want to just drag it myself. Okay. So there's our full size. As we drop it, completely happy with that. Completely happy with that. Obviously, I would need more margin between those, the logo and the header, the heading, and obviously going to need some more margin between the icons here and that heading. But for the most part, as far as the margin between the sides, I'm still happy with all that. Yeah. Okay. And you can also go and check it out on different phone sizes. So cool. I'm good with that. We're gonna X out of here. Gonna X out of here, and we'll leave this open to keep kind of going back and looking at. Okay. So the next thing is also here. These are SVGs that they've pulled in, and one of the things that you might want to consider, and that is they've been able to upload an ig.svg file, and that's what this is here. Okay. What you want to do here, if you want to change these, you can't change the color of these. So to make it your own. All right. So the question is, how do we do that? Okay. Probably the easiest way is, well, let's play with Claude. Um, I'm running. What's the word I'm looking for here? Never done this before with Claude. So we're gonna test this out. All right. So I gotta open up my Claude account in my main browser. And pop this open. First thing we're going to do is pull up a Windows snipping tool. And let's just do one at a time first. This is going to be, I've never done this before with Claude, so we're going to see. We're going to copy this, and then I'm pulling up, oh, come on. There we go, Claude in here, and I'm just going to do capture screenshot. Oh, it'll actually capture a screenshot. Interesting. Cancel, add content. It's one that downloads. All right, fine. Pull this back over, save it. Just going to call it that. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. Now we'll go back over here and add content. Grab that, open, and then we're going to say make this SVG. Let's get out of that. Now we don't need it. Again, this is a youtube.svg. Make this youtube.svg color. How about change it? Change this youtube.svg color, SVG color to. Do I have my color picker? What color do we want to try? Let's try and just do this blue. That's my color picker. If you're wondering what that is, that's ColorZilla, and it's a Chrome plugin. Okay. Let's just see what happens. Okay. And can you tell me how to download that to and so that it's a .svg file? Because what we're looking for is we want to upload our own. Okay. We don't want to use the code if we don't have to. So looks like we might have some hurdles to jump through to get this as an actual what's it we're looking for? File to download. I was really just trying to see if Claude could do it. You need to copy the entire SVG code, including the opening and closing tags on a computer like Notepad. That's actually not that big of a deal. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So what we have here is the code that it gave us. Whoops, let's go back down. It's letting me blow it up and everything. Where did that code go? Code. Okay. Copy. Let's open up Notepad. I'm opening up my other window just because it's going to open up a bunch of other stuff. All right. Paste it in there. All right. And do a save as. It says all files, plain text, click save. Let's see. In the file name, YouTube logo blue. Let's copy this. Boom. Okay, so paste the copied code into the editor. We've done that right here. All right. And then it says file, save as. Choose location. Yeah, desktop's fine. Or I'm sorry, the downloads, we'll do downloads. Okay. Now we're going to go in here. Didn't work. Let's just do blue, YouTube. And then we're going to do just .svg. Okay. And then what it says here is, can I move that? No, it's not going to let me. That's a problem. Let's go back over here. I want to be able to see what this is saying here. Make sure the save as type or format is set to all files or plain text. Should be fine. File, again, save as, blue YouTube. And it says all files are that. So, and then we're going to do .svg. And again, I'm just going to go into downloads, save. Okay, we're good there. I think that's it. This should be fun. I've never done this before. All right, I'm going to click out of here, and we're going to actually, you know what? I'm going to do a control. I'm going to do a reverse. I want to see just how big this is. It's a 30. Okay, now we'll go out of this, and I'm going to upload an image. Select. We're going to go to my downloads. There it is right there. You might look at this and go, what's going on here? With SVG files, they don't give you a way to look at them on your computer and see what they look like with the built-in file editor, or what should I say, file structure. Excuse me. So right now it's set to an SVG file typically opens in a browser. Okay, and so the default browser right now on my computer for SVG files is Microsoft Edge, and that's why you're seeing this. So with SVG files, this is how they look, all of them. And so you might be going, oh, what's going on there? It's okay. So we're going to click on open. And there it is. See how it showed up? And then boom. All right, now I'm going to drop this down to 30. That was cool, using Claude to do that. Okay, and so you would do that with each one of these. All right, it actually looks like it got a little small, but that's okay. And then literally you go back in here, and then you can open the URL, have it go to your YouTube channel, right? And you could go back and again do the same thing with each one of these. Just take a screenshot of it. The other way of doing this, again, I know this is going to be a longer video for folks, but I want to just teach you how to fish. All right, I'm going to show you everything. Is to go to Fontawesome, okay, .com. So this would be another way of skinning this cat. All right, and you want to be able to have your own colors for this stuff, right? So this one here is the Instagram one. So you go in here and you just look for, do a search for Instagram. Okay, and it looks to me like it's probably close to that one. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be this one exactly. But for the sake of the video, I just thought, hey, let's try and make it. And the other thing that I would do is, instead of using featured here, go down here, wrong one, click on free. All right, you just want to use the free ones. Okay, and let's grab this. Okay, now what you want to do is we want to be able to go in here and change the color. So again, I want to go back and grab that color again. Wrong one. Going to go up here to grab my ColorZilla color picker. And actually, we're going to go right there and grab the actual color from there. So we did. Go back in here. And now what you're going to do is click on Styling Tools. Okay. Right here, pick your own color. Okay. Far right. Click on that. I forgot. Yeah, this is always fun. It's RGB. Okay, so I got to go get the RGB. It doesn't use hex. So we got to go back and once again, get my ColorZilla. Go back over here. And it's 57, 125, 177. Click on that. 57, 125, I think it was 177. Let's just go back and double check. And let's just see. ColorZilla. Boom. 57, 125, 177. Yeah. 57, 125, 1. Okay, we're good. Okay. So there's the color. Now we're just going to go to SVG. And now we're going to click on download. Okay. And then here, click out of this. Upload. There's the Instagram. Click on that. Sure. And then we want to make this to be 30. You can either use the slider, or you can just type it in. Okay. So there's our Instagram. All right. So again, I'm going to take this out. I don't think I need it there. What I do want, we'll go ahead and add some. Get in there. All right. Going to add some margin at the top. Probably 15. That looks fine. Okay. So, and then we want to just do something like start here. Headline text. Sure. We'll call that. So it did pop it into its own section. Don't really need it our own section, but it doesn't hurt either. It's not a big deal if it's in its own section. Let's click this out. Delete. Do a start here. All right. So again, don't have to make it exact, but we got all caps here. And I think we can do all caps. I didn't know if I could do an all cap thing, shortcut or not, but let's just click caps lock and then start here. Okay. So I'm going to make this bold. So this is where, again, part of the reason this is going to be a longer video is because I do a lot with ChatGPT. But this is where we need to start creating some style sheets for this. If I do underline, I don't know about you, I think that underline to me is just too close to the letters. There's just not a whole lot of breathing room. Okay. Where here, there's a little bit more breathing room. The other thing about this underline here, you could try and do, what's the word I'm looking for? An image of a line. But what happens with that is it gets really, really funky when you're playing with it to make sure it's responsive. Okay. And so this actually isn't terrible, but for me, I still want some breathing room under this, between the line and the letters. Okay. So we're gonna create a style sheet here, and when I click into this, it doesn't let me know what kind of a heading this is. It just said headline text. So what we're going to call this is we're going to go ahead and call it, I'm going to call it an H2. I'm looking here to see if I can make it an actual H2, and it's not. H3, H2, H1. Okay, it's an H1 right now. We'll keep it an H1. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and for this purpose, I'm going to go into ChatGPT and yeah, we'll make it. We'll just go ahead and log in. So you saw me use Claude earlier. Claude allows you to upload things like images. ChatGPT, the paid version probably does. I'm not using the paid version here. We don't need all that in there. So we're going to do incognito mode, chatgpt.com. But with Claude, it really, really ties your hands as far as how much you can use it. All right. Typically when I'm using Claude, I love Claude AI for programming and all that. It's typically much quicker. It gives me the results I need faster than ChatGPT does. ChatGPT, I could be having problems and just working with it, going back and forth, and things not working. I can go into Claude and say, hey, can you fix this? And a lot of times within just a couple of prompts, it's got it fixed. So, but Claude really ties your hands on how much you can use it. I mean, it's just a couple of prompts back and forth, and it's like, sorry, you've used up your, what's the word I'm looking for? Not allotment, but your bandwidth. Again, not the term I don't think they use, but anyway, come back at 2 p.m. and you can play, use it again. And so it's really tough. ChatGPT, I can go back and forth all day long with it. At least, and it'll knock you down to, oh, it's not letting me go to the 3.5, but it'll knock you down if there's an issue. But again, lately, ChatGPT I can just use all day long. So what I want to do here is going to create a prompt. I'm working on a web page in Systeme.io. I need to create a style sheet that I can pop into my header code to style some of the elements on the page. Currently, let's do this. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. I would like all H1 tags to have the text underlined, and I'd like to have some breathing room between the text and the line. The default underline doesn't have very much breathing room. Okay. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to spit out a style sheet. And this will be something that you can add to as you go if you need to. All right. And we might need to. Matter of fact, if we run into some issues with things not being responsive, we're going to come back to the style sheet. And this is where we're going to go and make changes to make sure that as we're on different screen sizes, that thing looks okay. All right. Again, I am not a coder. All right. I know enough to know that I need a style sheet. I know enough that I could get in here and change colors and things like that if it had, like right here, they do have some color here. But there's no way. I don't have that kind of a brain to remember this kind of stuff. There's no way I'm going to remember this kind of stuff. So this is where I use ChatGPT. Okay. Going to pop that in and I'm going to take this underline out. Okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up to, we're going to save changes. I'm going to go up to settings. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to go into edit header code. I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to save that. So what you'll notice here, this is an underline right now. Click on the eyeball. Let's see what happens. Boom, there's the underline. Okay. Now, this is where you can kind of go back and forth with ChatGPT. And you can say that might be a little too much space. But let's do an inspect first real quick too. I want to just really quick double check and just see what things look like with this underline as we drop things down. And again, notice that as we drop this, we found was this got a little bit more scrunched. That the margin went away here between our share icons and the logo. Now, we could use some CSS, which is what we just did, and some custom code to fix that. Or we could also just see if maybe going into our editor and going into here into our image, we can add some margin there that will keep things kind of looking. Oh, wrong one. I want the image there. Yeah, that's the image. Come on. And I want some bottom margin. There we go. And I usually do about 15. Save changes. Again, we're going to preview this. Yeah, that helped. Okay. But let's just double check. Yeah, it still kind of breaks down. But we also haven't done anything in the editor yet for mobile. Okay. Going to exit out of this. Let's go back to our editor. Let's go to mobile. Okay. And there. What I want to do is, this is the margin for mobile. and it's only going to affect mobile. Again, I'm going to pop in 15 right there. Click on Save Changes, and that's what it looks like there. Let's click on Preview. Again, we're going to right click and do an Inspect. Okay. And let's just see what happens when we drop this down to an iPhone. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's go to responsive because I want to be able to just drop it down and see if it breaks down anywhere specific. Okay, I'm still happy with that. Yeah, yeah, that worked. Okay. If it didn't, then that's where we would be going into ChatGPT and saying, okay, the built-in tools that we've got in Systeme.io, they're working, but they're breaking down at certain points. And so you just have to play with Systeme.io and see is this going to be proficient enough to work and have it work on all screen sizes. Sometimes it is, like right now, it's working. Sometimes not. Okay. So a lot of testing and checking things out. So we're going to get out of this completely, go back into our editor. And again, what you noticed here, we'll go back to our desktop, is because we're using code, it's not showing up in the editor, but when we do our preview, that underline's there. So the other thing that I said also is, I think that's a little bit too much space. Now, we could go back to ChatGPT, take a look at it, and padding right now on the H1 is 10 pixels, and the padding is between the text and the bounding kind of the boundary of the text, if you will. It's the inside, right? That's fine. But here's the custom underline effect. All right, this is a comment. One of the ways of seeing comments, and this is stuff that's not being read by the browser. All right, this is basically just for you. It's for anybody who's reading this to let them know what's going on with this text right here. And it's saying apply to all H1 tags. So for all H1 tags, do this. Okay. This is saying here's what we want you to do for an underline effect. All right. So bottom position absolute, height 2 pixels, thickness of the underline, background color Z index. Ensure underline is behind the text. That's good. Thickness of the underline. I'm not seeing what's the one I'm looking for. Let's see what they've got here. It is explaining stuff here, which normally I just kind of blow up, pass, and don't worry about. But let's just see here. There it is, right here. So it is. That padding is the amount of space between the text and the underline. That's cool. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this. I'm going to leave this code here, fine. But we're going to go back and take a look at this and make it 5. Okay, going to go back to our settings. Going to go scroll down. Going to go to our header code. And we're going to make this 5 and just see what happens. Okay, we're not going to see any change at all here. Again, we're going to click on Save Changes. And what I want to do is watch this now. Okay, we're going to click on our eyeball. And yeah, that took it a little bit further up. And I like that. I might even do less. I think that's good enough though. Okay. So there's our start here, you know, an hour in, and that's how far we've gotten. All right. A lot goes into this stuff here, right? So now we want to create some boxes for all the stuff here, right? So a couple of different ways of doing this. What I did here is I think I did some content boxes, but you could also do rows. Okay. And I think probably for this one, we're going to do rows. All right. So we're going to go over here. Going to go into the editor. And I think also just to make sure that we that we have, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess we don't even need this down here, but we'll leave it there. always thinking about responsiveness, all right, and how to keep things responsive. So we're just going to go in here, and I think we're going to go ahead and just add another section. That's interesting that we got, it looks like we got all kinds of stuff popping in here. Section, row, section, another section, another row. Cool. All right. What you'll notice here, if we keep this row here, all right, and we want like a border around it, what you'll notice is the row's really, really big. Okay. A couple of ways of making it smaller. One, again, this is where you can use margin. Or two, you can use the width features of the sections and change the width of the section. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so very first thing we want to do is let's put kind of a row around it. So border radius, first thing, let's kind of do something like that. Style, let's do solid, and then you can change the color whatever you want. You know what? I'm going to go with that blue. Let's do. Let's go back to our color picker. Extensions, Colorzilla. There, it's copied. And let's go up here, paste that in. Let's do that. Cool. Pop it over there. Okay. Do we want to be a little bit fatter, a little bit bolder, whatever? Let's go back over here to our radius. We have solid. We have a width of 1 right now. Let's click that up to 2. Save changes. Okay. No, see what I'm saying? It's nice and big and long, right? You might not want that. I don't know about you. I don't think I like that. See, it's how the box is a lot smaller here. Okay. So here's how we fix that. You go in here. One way is you go into your section. Right now, content width is set to full page. We can set this down to wide, and now it's just dropped it down. We can set this down to medium, and it's going to make it even smaller. Okay, whoop, come on, medium. Okay, let's run with medium for now. I think we're going to run with that. All right, and then what is this one going to be? We're going to call this. We want to be able to have maybe some kind of an image here on the side. I just used something that would be similar to like an SVG here for each one of these little sections, but you'll notice on other stand stores that people have actual images. If we go back and look at some of the other stuff that was in the other ones, people had images, and you could do that. Again, I think for the sake of this video, we're going to kind of stick with recreating what I've done here. Again, I've already kind of digressed a little bit, and when I say digressed, I've already kind of made some changes that weren't exact. I'm pretty sure the original design has content boxes here instead of just rows, but I actually think the rows will be more user-friendly and more responsive. Less stuff to do. All right, so let's go back over here and just do that. Now we've got, get out of that. So there's our box, our bounding box. All right. So what we want to do here, if we go and look at this, we've got basically a row with 2 columns here is what we're looking at. Okay. And as I look at this, I keep hitting. And as I look at this, this needs to be in a row by itself. Okay. So how this is going to work. Go over here. First thing we do is 2 columns, boom. And then this one's going to have your icon in it or whatever that you're putting in there. So we're going to put an image in there. And we're going to change the size to much, much lower. And we're going to pop it over. Okay, something like 80 is fine. And then what we're going to do is move all this all the way over to something like that. Okay. Now what we've got, if we go back over here, is another row. Okay. And the reason I want another row is I want this to be in its own little row there by itself, this image. Okay. So we're going to go and grab this little row and pop it on here. And then what we've got is some text, and we're going to actually go ahead and we're going to recreate this input opt-in form right here on this. Okay. So sure, text, boom. Click this, go over here like that. Okay. Call this whatever. Grab this amazing guide. Okay. Bold that. Sure. And then here we'll have some other text. And I think what we'll do, pop it right underneath again. A lot of people like stuff centered. I'm more of just having everything left justified, but play with it. This guide is full of all kinds of valuable, just kind of randomly putting stuff in here, content to help you succeed in your business. Okay. Boom. Okay. Go back. And then we're going to need 2 form fields and then a button. Okay. Like over here. So we go over to form input. See, if we had not put this row in here, another row in here to add this stuff in here, this image would be getting moved down along with all the other content. Okay. Let's just do this and I'll show you why I did it. Copy. And right here, I'm going to take this row completely out. Garbage. Sure. Okay. Go back in there. We should have just the one row. Let me show you what happens if we go in here and do a copy, paste. Oh, let's just drag that down, right? I think I messed that up already. Yeah, that's right. Put that in there. Do the same thing. We're going to copy this whole thing, drag that down. We're going to drag this one down. Maybe it's all right. Okay, that did work out okay. That's working out okay. The other thing, though, we're going to leave this here because we're going to test the responsiveness of all this and see does what we did up here make a difference or not. Okay, so I'm going to do another form input there, and then we have a button for grab. Button goes there, and I don't know if I want the button in the middle or not. I still like it over there. Okay. Again, boom, form input, one more, and then the button right there, and I want it left align. Okay. Let's just test it now, see what happens. Okay, there's our duplicated boxes. We're only going to probably keep one. Going to right click, do an inspect. And let's just drop this down and see what happens as we, first thing here, a lot of space up here between this and this. I don't think I need that much space. So we'll go back in there and fix that too. So start here. Definitely do not need that much space between start here and that first box. Notice, oh, that's because we didn't put our image in yet. Let's put an image in there so that we can make sure everything's working properly. Going to go up here, just going to grab an image. We're just going to use this guy all the way down. And definitely do not need it that big. We'll do 90. Kind of small, but that's okay. Same thing here. We'll grab my, just for the sake of getting this done. And then again, 90. Just going to highlight this whole thing, click on 90. Okay. Save. And then the eyeball. Okay, we're already in our responsive deal here. And let's just see what happens as this thing drops. So that's all fine. That's fine. We still have some margin in between everything, which is good. We want that. I'm not too happy with the margin that's there now, and that can probably be coming. That might come into play with our mobile settings. So we'll go in there and check that out. Let's go up here and just see what that looks like. Yeah. Okay. So based on what I'm looking at here, we don't need to have that extra row that we popped in there. Okay. And this is something that you just kind of learn trial and error while you're playing with all this stuff. Again, just making sure if something breaks down, as far as making sure it's mobile ready and mobile friendly and responsive, that's where sometimes adding different rows can come into play. And in this case, I didn't need to. Let's get out of that, go back into our editor, and I'm deleting this whole thing. Don't even need it. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is, yeah, see there, padding. A lot of padding here on the bottom. Don't even need it. The other thing we got to do is make sure, is this all lined up? And that looks like it's lined up, centered for our purposes. And then got a bug flying around. And then what I'm going to do also is I think I don't really need as much padding here as we've got here. Just, I like breathing room, but not that much breathing room. So we're going to click into here. Again, it's in the section is what it is. Top. Same thing here. This is the section padding. Come on. There it is. Come on. There we go. We got 60. That might be, no, it's okay. The top though, I definitely think we need some margin up there, or padding. So you might get confused with padding and margin. Again, margin is the space between elements. So margin is a space between these icons and the logo. Padding is a space between the logo and the container for the logo, if that makes sense. Okay. So as a general rule, I work with margin the most, but there are times where padding is going to come into play. Okay. Now we need to do here, we need to go into our mobile version. And again, notice what we've got here is it's pretty close to the edge. And it looks like they're using padding here. Let's go over here and just take a quick look. Padding right and left. Right when we click this way up to, yep, okay. It is taking and giving us that space between the border and the edges of the device. So I think 20 is too much. 10 might be okay. Let's just see what 15 looks like. Let's do that. Same thing here. 10 on that one. Bottom. Let me take a quick look at the bottom. There we go. It's not letting me see the bottom as much as I'd like. Bottom definitely needs to be more. I'm going to do 15. And then left. We need to make sure that's dialed in. Okay. Okay. Line height here between the lines of text is way too much. Usually I take it to about 1 or 2 more than the font size. You'll see what I'm talking about here when I drop the line height. And in this case, maybe 3 more. I think 18's, I'm going to leave it at 19. A little bit of breathing room between the lines, right? All right. So let's click on save, and then let's go and preview this. And we're going to do right click. And by going into the mobile aspect of this, we've got a lot more breathing room here now between the edges of our box and the edges of the device. Go to responsive. And see how we've still got some space, and it's not like right up against the edge. Okay. So again, if you wanted to, you could go in and go back and make these colors. I mean, I obviously wouldn't leave these black. Also, I still think there's quite a bit of space here between these two, between the box and the start here. Let's just go up here and take a quick look at this. That's fine. Let's go up here. Again, this is all the stuff for the mobile. Bottom is 40. Just do not need that much. $15 there. Do we have some margin up there? Not using any margin at all. Let's go into our text and just see what we got here. Nothing's going on there. So I'm going to go into the section settings. That's fine. I'm not going to mess with the padding. That's all good. See here, 56 bottom on the margin. There's just a lot of space there. I do want some breathing room, but I don't know if I want to need that much breathing room. Let's take it down to, my arrows aren't showing up. That happens also with Systeme. So every now and then your arrows will be gone, and you have to use the slider. Save changes. So that's just on the mobile side here. Okay. You'll notice if we click into here, see how it just has mobile. So anything when you see this icon here, when you're making these changes, it doesn't affect the desktop side. So let's go back over to the desktop. And again, had a lot of room in here. Let's go to our section settings. Bottom is at 0. Let's go to our settings for the text. Bottom's at 15. I'm going to do that. And let's just do a quick preview. That brought it up a little bit closer. Might even add a little bit more breathing room here between the start here and the icons. Just kind of play around with this a little bit. Margin. And we're going to do the section. Really doesn't make that big of a difference which one you're working with here. Let's do 20. Again, you just kind of go in here and play with it. Okay. So there you go. All right. Let's get this form dialed in. Okay. Something to keep in mind with these forms when you're setting this up. This stuff is only going to work if you have your email all dialed in as well. And so you'll need to watch one of our other videos. So you need to watch one of our other videos on how to set up your email settings with a professional email address for Systeme.io, because this kind of falls apart if you don't have that all set up. Okay. So yeah, you want to make sure that you have everything kind of dialed in with your email for all this to actually work. And so you might get some errors if you don't have that email dialed in first. So what we're going to do here, form input, again, first name and email. Click over here, click into there and select type. It's going to be first name. Here, select type. It's going to be email. I think here I'm going to change the color of this button to be the button color that we've been using. Again, match the branding of everything. And we've got right now, it says take to the next step. This is where the next step would be like a thank you and what to expect, right? So let's go click here. What did I say here? Grab my free tools. Let's do grab my free guide. And then subtext could be don't worry, we hate spam too. Okay. Now what you want to know is what happens when they click on this button, right? We want them to either download a file or submit the form, and then in a download the file option, they're going to get the file whether or not it's a valid email. I mean, they could get it even if it's not a valid email. Let's test it though. Okay. Let's click to download file, and then we're going to go to our file and see if I have any files in here. I don't. So let's go ahead and do a select file. We're just going to go and find a PDF guide in here. Let me go over here and just do some searching around in my other window. So I'm going to just use this guy right here. That's what it's going to be. We're going to click on open. It's uploading it. And let's just see what happens. Insert. Okay. Save. And let's just see what happens. All right, I'm gonna exit out of all this. I don't need that. Can exit out of that. I don't need that. And we're going to go ahead and just do, yep, totally fake. I'm not even going to put a real email address here. Just me at yahoo.com. Don't know if that's a real email address or not. Grab my free guide. So this would work if you wanted to do that. But as you can see, it doesn't validate their email addresses. So the whole point of developing some kind of a guide that's full of quality stuff is to get valid email addresses so that they're part of your list, so you can communicate with them, let them know when things are coming up, and build your email list, right? So that was a good test to see, do we want to just do a download guide? In this case, I don't think so. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out of this, and we'll do, instead of just a submit form, if you do a submit form, it will go to the thank you page if you have one afterwards. If not, you could go and say open up a URL if you have the thank you page on a different step, or you could go to the next step URL if you have your thank you page there. And the thank you page is going to be something like, hey, thank you for signing up. Please go check your email. Your guide will be delivered there, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so let's go in here, and what you've got here is, this is where I was telling you about the email. All right, we can add an automation rule here. And right now, there's no actions at all. We can add an action. Okay. This part you can do, add a tag, choose a tag. With the free version, you can only have one tag. So right now I'm just using customer. Okay. So we've got that. Add another action. I want to send them an email to deliver that free guide. All right. So here, send an email to a contact. Choose an email. Do we have one yet? We have one, but if we didn't, then we'd need to go and create one. So let's go in here and let's grab this. And then we're going to also add one more action. And that's going to be send another specific email to a specific address. Okay. You don't have to do this, but this is just something that some of my clients like, of like, they want to know, if someone signs up for a freebie, can I get notified? And this is how you set it up. Okay. Choose an email address, or choose an email, and I've got one that says you've just got an opt-in, and that's in there already. So if you don't have these yet, then you're going to need to. I wanted to be able to create the email, and it's not letting me. So we're going to go completely out of this. Okay. Actually, we're going to delete it. We're going to delete all this. Just going to delete it. And we're going to go back over here to automations. And this one here, we're going to disable, because you can only have one of these per free account anyway. So that's why I was really, really surprised it was letting me do anything there. So we're just going to do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create another automation. The trigger. Okay. Click on a trigger. And what's going to be the trigger? When a funnel step form is subscribed. Okay. We're doing this page in the funnels, not in the blogs. So it's a funnel step form. It wants us to choose the funnel. Yep, that's the one that we're working on. Okay, if we had other funnels in there, the drop down would have other funnels. Right now we only have the one. Which funnel step? It's going to be the new stand store. That's what I'm working on right now. Action. Okay, we're going to add the tag. It's going to be that one customer tag. Going to click on the button and do another action. We want to send an email. Okay. This allows us to actually create the emails. Okay. So we can go in here and we can actually create the email. And so this would be something like, here's your free guide. Okay. Hello. And then I'm going to actually change this text. I don't like the default text that comes up. And that is done over here. Click on the three dots. And then right here is the font family. Let's do Verdana. Now what I want to do is a substitute variable. I'm going to grab their first name. Boom. Thank you for your interest in this free value packed guide. You can download. Click here to download your guide. Okay, go in here and we can link to it if we wanted to. Okay, couple of ways of doing this. We could do both if we wanted to. Okay, now you want to put the link in there. How do we get the link, right? Let's go back to here. All right, and we're going to actually go up to, it's interesting that this is all showing up again. Let's click out of that and just click on Save Changes. This should have all been gone. It's not. Add automation rule. just save. Let's see if that took it away. Should have. Anyway, okay, so what we want to do is we want to get into our media bin. Again, Systeme.io doesn't have a media bin, so it makes it kind of difficult to find your media. So you got to kind of do some workarounds. All right. So we go back up here and we say submit form. No, we want to go to download file. The only reason we're going to download files, we're trying to get to the files here. All right. And we go to your files, we go here. Now we can right click on this and we can do come on. Should be able to right click on that and get the address. And why am I not seeing it? I'm not seeing the address. Isn't that fun? So that didn't work so good, huh? Let's just do an insert. Okay. And you'll see why I'm trying to do this here in a minute. Save changes. And here, grab my file. It's going to open up. This right here is this is the address that we're trying to get to. Again, Systeme, if it had a media bin, we could have just gone to the media bin and done that. Straight to the media bin and done it and grabbed it. But in this case, we don't. So now we're going to pop that link into here and do a check. So the other way is to add the attachment this way. Okay. And same thing here. We're going to do a search. There it is, right there, and add it from there and open. Okay. So it's going to be both a click here, or when they get the email, they'll have the attachment. And again, you can go in here and do whatever you want in this email. I look forward to getting to know you. Sean. Okay. And then save. Okay. So they fill out their email address, their name, their email address. They click on grab my free guide. That's going to take them to a thank you page. And then they're going to, because they clicked here, that fires off this automation. Okay. This here is saying when somebody clicks this, do this, they're now going to be added as a customer. They're going to get this email that here's your free guide. Then we're going to add one more email. Again, only if you want to get notified if someone does sign up for something. So send an email to a specific address. We're going to go ahead and just click on create an email. And this address here is going to be the address that you have for all your stuff. So if you've got a specific address that you check normally, this doesn't have to be a professional address here. You can do whatever you want. And what you'll notice also here is you'd be running into all kinds of errors. We're not now because I've got this all set up. I told you earlier that you want to make sure your professional email address is all set up in Systeme.io with all of the necessary configuration settings and what have you, and connected to your domain settings at your domain registrar. If you haven't done that, you would be getting all kinds of errors right now. It'd be like, nope, sorry, you can't do that. You got to put a valid email address over here, right here where it says sender email address. All right. Because I've got this configured already, we're able to do this. But if you don't, if you're running into issues, that's why. All right. But here, as far as the recipient address, doesn't matter. Okay. So you put whatever you want. This is going to my Gmail address and it's automatically grabbing it. Okay. Here, you just got a new opt-in. Okay. And again, this is what some of my clients want to have. And then here, because it's coming to me, and again, I don't like that default font at all. Just not happy with that at all. So they're much better. You just got a new opt-in. Cool beans. Anyway, don't even have to do anything else to that. Okay, and just click on save. Okay, so now if someone clicks on that and fills it out, I'm going to get an email. So cool, I got a new opt-in, right? All right, save rule. We're done as far as all that kind of stuff. So the automation now for that little form thing is done. You do want to make sure that you have, again, let's duplicate this page. You do want to make sure that you have some kind of a thank you page on the back after it. Okay. And it makes sense to have it right after. Doesn't have to be, but it makes sense to have that right after. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this thank you page and view funnel step. I'm not going to go into how to set this up. You would just take a look at this and just do something similar. All right. So again, right now this is set up with the zero to income template that we give away for free. Again, if you didn't want to do all this yourself, you could sign up for this whole template right here. I'm going to take this out when we're done with this video, but you can have this whole template. It's going to have the double column, thank you, single column, how to use this template. All right. So, but right now, we are just dealing with this one here. And it's just when they click on this, this pops up. Cool. In this case, it would be your guide is on the way. Here's what happens next. Go check your email box for more information. Remember, if you can't see us, check your junk, check your promotions folder. You should get the message within the next 20 minutes. Usually it's like within a minute. All right. Make sure you add our email address to your contacts and make sure that we mark us as safe. All right. In this case, it would be enjoy your free guide. Here I've got pop open your toolbox. Check out all the helpful tools. All right. Follow us and be the first to know about updates. That's for our YouTube channel. You could do something like that if you wanted to also on your thank you page. Okay. So that's how you would do the thank you page for this. All right. So at this point, let's go out of this right here. We don't need that anymore. And we don't need Fontawesome anymore. And at this point, we could just go and kind of duplicate these sections now and change each one of these buttons for whatever the heck you want to make them, right? So let's go back over here to our squeeze page and actually our editor. I'm going to go into this section and I'm going to duplicate it. Okay. And, do whatever you want. Maybe it's purchase your course. Trying to think of what other stuff might have in here. Let's go over here and do, we don't need this anymore. Check out our website. Okay. And then you could have something like www.mywebsite.com. Okay. And then obviously you don't need this anymore. Take all that out. Okay. And then here, obviously you'd want to go and link your site. Let's do an HTTPS just to be safe. www.techgremlinwarrior.com and click on the save icon just to be safe, right? And then that should have worked. Let's just double check, save, do a preview. So it's still remembering this, which is odd. I'm surprised it's still remembering all that. Maybe that's just because it's a preview. And there it is. So it's actually taking it to, I thought I had, maybe it's the techgremlinwarrior.com. Nope. That pulled up. I must have typed in a, it's going to a, oh, I know why. I know why. I deactivated a funnel that's connected to this, and that's why for the sake of this video. I was getting some errors because I'm working on a free thing. It's like you've surpassed your number of funnel steps, and so it was. I made it. I deactivated it so that we could have that funnel step to play with, and that's what's going on here. So anyway, all right. Let's do a preview once more. I just want to make sure first we got that online. That's cool. Check out our website. That's cool. Go back over here and duplicate this again and do whatever the heck you want again here for, if you wanted to, you could have another freebie here, or I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. We have for us, how about this? We have work with us, and you could do an email. So go back over here and click on this and do Control Z. Oh, that's not working very good. There we go. Coach with me. Okay. And here, go out of that. Sure. What we're going to do is add another button. I used buttons here, right? The other thing that I didn't do yet with these buttons, we didn't add a whole lot of, we didn't do a whole lot of customizing the buttons. Left, right, don't need that much space between everything. Let's do 30. And then what I like to do a little bit more, 5 all the way down. This is the rounded corners. And the other thing I'd like to do is a little bit of shadow, actually a lot of shadow. Here, I don't think I need that. But what I do like to have is a hover effect, movement on hover. So style right here is the hover effect, and we're going to do a float. Drop that up to like 5. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see how that moved. Going to actually go up here and do a copy it. Going to drag it down here and drop it right below. There we go. There. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do a open URL. And in this case, we want it to be an email. Okay. This is where we're going to use ChatGPT again. Okay. I would like you to create a mail to link. I do not need the href tag. I think that's what it is. Again, I know enough to just kind of get around tag. I just need the mail to link. To going to, this is where you want to send them, you use the email that you want people to send you an email to. So for me, I would say the tech, I think it's just tech gremlin. It doesn't really matter right now. gremlinwarrior.com, at gmail.com. And please put a subject with it saying, I'm interested in coaching. Okay. So there's our mail to link, and there's all the stuff for I'm interested in coaching. It's interesting. It didn't give us the funky text for the apostrophe here. With Systeme, it doesn't matter. You don't really need that funky text. So let's just do copy and I'll show you here what I'm talking about. Going to go in here and pop this in. And I'm actually going to take this out. Just going to put a space in there. Because again, I've tested this out. You don't need to have that in there. What these are the text code for a space. Okay. Open in the same window, sure. This one here, we don't. We want to open it in the. We want to actually go open URL. Type this URL in. We're just going to say, in this case, we'll take it to zero to income. Oh, actually, it's going to be the next. It's going to actually be the next step URL or our thank you page. So we could do submit form. That's going to take them to the thank you page and do everything. But we got to make sure that that thank you page again is in. Let's do a save changes. Is right after. Let's do a duplicate and let's go out of here. And see the opt-in page, the thank you page is not right after here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and grab it, copy it. Okay, I'm getting the link. Now I'm going to go back over here, and instead of going to the next step URL, we're going to do a custom URL, and that's what we want. Save changes. Go back down here, click on that, and this doesn't really matter. Okay, coach with me and do a save. Okay, open that up. Okay, so here, just going to once again, and I'm going to actually put an email in there. Going to click grab my free guide. Watch what happens. And nothing happens. It broke. Go back up to this. Up here. See why it's not working. It should be going to that thank you page. And I don't know if I don't know if the automation is going to kick in if it's not a submit form. So this is going to be one of those things where we might have to have that thank you page after. Let's try that. I might have messed things up. Let's try it again. Come on, get out. Grab my free guide. Nope. Doesn't want to work. Okay. To next step. Click on save. And again, this is what you got to do when you're creating all this stuff. So you want to know how I do this stuff. This is it. This is down and dirty. Save changes. Go over here. We're going to put this thank you right here and see if that knocks this stupid out of it. Pop this over. Okay, just double check, submit form, go to the next step. Yeah. Okay. Doesn't want to work. Could be it doesn't want to work on a preview. Let's go here and do view funnel step that way. It's going right to the actual page. There we go. That worked. So it didn't want to work in preview. Another quirk with working with Systeme.io, you got to kind of remember. Let's go back over here and just test some stuff out real quick. What happens if, one, we take this back up to here, two, grab the link, go back to our editor, and submit form, go to custom URL, boom, click on save. Again, going to go up here. This is a preview. I don't want the preview. Going to go back. I was hoping to go back here, but that's not going to work. Okay, go back over to our funnels, go to our page, view funnel step. One more test. It does work. Okay, cool. Our testing of that doesn't work properly on preview from here. We actually have to kind of preview it live. Okay, so this is all live stuff. So we need to go and view the funnel step, not preview the funnel step. We need to view it. All right. So cool. That's working. Again, preview. Go out of that. We've already tested that out. We go up here. This should open now in a new window. It doesn't. Let's go back over here and go into this. And we're going to send them to zerotoincome.com. And see right here, this is the open a new window option. Click on that. It's going to automatically save this. So you won't have to click on the save option. So click here and it's automatically saved it. Save on changes. Go ahead and click on the preview button. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, and it opens up a new window. Okay. Now here, check this out. We set this up as a Mailto link. So what this is going to do is going to open up my email browser. Boom, it opened it up. This is my actual email. All right. And it's sending it from your email. Okay. And it's going to send it to that email that we said. And look at right here. There's the subject. I'm interested in coaching. How cool is that? Okay. So that's all I'm going to really do now. You literally would just go in there and duplicate each one of these little sections and put in there whatever you wanted, right? You could keep this here if you wanted to, or you could take it out. You could just leave, the really bottom stuff here if you wanted to. I like to keep things as simple and clean as possible. So for me, if this was all mine, I would probably take this out. Kept that for the color, and I'm going to take this whole thing out. And then we got a lot of top padding here. We don't need all that in there. Oh, go back in there. Left, right. Yep, that's all good. Boom. Pretty much done. All right. So here it's saying squeeze page. How do we change that? Go to the settings and scroll down. And see this right here? You would put your name, Tech Gremlin Warrior links. Okay. If you want to put in a description, you could, some keywords. Sean dash the Tech Gremlin Warrior. You could pop in a social image. This is the image that shows up if someone pulls this link up on their phone, or if you share it on Facebook or LinkedIn. This would be the image that shows up with it. That's fine. That works. Cool. And save changes. So now watch what happens when we view it. See? Tech Gremlin Warrior links. How cool is that? So we took everything else out that was on the bottom, and there you go. All right. So now, folks, that is how you go and you create this template for yourself. All right. Little bit of stuff going on here with some ChatGPT as far as for formatting certain things. We didn't have to do too much to make sure things were responsive by keeping it a single column and making sure that we go into the mobile side of things. My nose is still itching. Um, you can make sure that you got the proper margin and or padding between stuff. And if that doesn't work, then you would go into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, this is kind of breaking down," and you would put the screen size in. You would say something like, "Let's do an inspect," and let's go down here, and let's just say that all of a sudden something broke right here. You would literally go into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I'm working on a um, website in Systeme.io, and I'm having some issues with it looking properly on certain screen sizes, specifically um, at 905 by 904, things break down. And what it'll do is it'll do what they call a media query, and that'll go into your style sheet. You saw us when we did that style sheet earlier, and it'll say, "Hey, media query, if size is 905." Do this, and ChatGPT will give you the code to clean things up and make sure it's all responsive. Okay. We didn't have to do that though with this. All right. And that's part of the reason that I did the single column. Get into double columns and you start running into issues with making sure that everything displays properly and, just a little bit more work. All right. But for the most part, you're good to go. That's how you do the stand store template. Now, this was a super long video, but again, someone asked, "Hey, how do you do this?" I knew it was going to be a long video. But I wanted to go through and just like if you're just sitting here with me, watching me, that's how I would literally. That's how I would have done this. All right, folks. If you're really liking these videos and you want to watch other videos on Systeme.io, we have a whole playlist. All right, go check it out. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the other good stuff that Dana and I put out. And thanks for watching.